Alright, so since the audio quality is working very well, let's get on with Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor 14. This took place Friday, August 19th, 2016, in Las Vegas, Nevada. Same place where they had their 14th anniversary show. And like the 14th anniversary show, we got the presence of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And this show is going to be highlighted by Jay Lethal versus Adam Cole for the ROH World title. And Ring of Honor has really been building up this match. And we're going to go into whether this pay-per-view as a whole delivered or not. So the first match on the card is Lio Rush versus Donovan Dijak versus Jay White versus Kamatachi. A fatal four-way to determine the number one contendership for the ROH World Television Championship. Now, these guys have been feuding with each other for a little bit. And you had Jay White feuding with Kamatachi, where that feud started back at Best in the World during the Addiction Motor City Machine Gun match. You had Kamatachi run out at the end and attack Jay White. So that's how that beef ended up starting. And then Dijak and Rush, they've been feuding for a little bit, where that was on ROH TV, where that one's between where you had Dijak, who won last year's Top Prospect tournament, and then you have Lio Rush, the winner of this year's Top Prospect tournament. This was a good way to open up the show, where you had start off with Kamatachi and Dijak working together a little bit. Then you had good spots between Dijak and Rush, along with Kamatachi and White. This is a really good pace that they set the match in, where you had really good spots such as Lio hitting a reverse Frankensteiner to Dijak on the floor. Then you had Dijak hitting like a corkscrew dive, like corkscrew plancha would be more accurate, I think. Yeah, let's call it a corkscrew plancha. And then you had like a series of near falls between Rush and Dijak, and it was really good counters. Eventually, Dijak ended up hitting the Feast Your Eyes for the 3 count. So he is the number one contender for the TV title. Whether they're going to put the title on him or not remains to be seen. So, interesting to see where this is going to go. I give this match a 3.75 out of 5. It was a great pace. It didn't feel dragged out at any point for me. These guys have some good chemistry with each other. So if they were to do another match like this, I'd be stoked. So we go from that match to a non-title match where it's the IWGP Never Openweight Champion Katsuyori Shibata versus the last real man, Silas Young. Now this was a match I was pretty excited for, where you had Young taking over. Yeah, you had Young getting tired of being looked over by ROH, where he's like, I'm sick of having to be on pre-shows or internet exclusives. I'm going to be on this show, and I'm challenging one of the biggest badasses in New Japan, Shibata. So this is really good. So you start off with Young getting some offense early on, since through Shibata outside of the ring, hitting a plancha. Then you had Young working over the taped shoulder of Shibata, which was an injury he suffered during the G1. And then as Young was like spamming knife edge chops and shit, Shibata was no selling. And he kept egging him on, like, come on, hit me. Hit me. You know, Shibata's usual shit. Then you had Shibata pretty much throwing Young in the corner, hitting him with some Yakuza kicks. And then you had like some, at their series of counters, you had Young hitting the backbreaker clothesline combination for a 2 count. Afterwards, you have Young trying to hit the TKO, and him and Shibata, they go back and forth. And after that, you have Shibata with the sleeper hold, and then the penalty kick for the 3 count. So Katsuyori Shibata wins the match. Afterwards, you had Young and Shibata. They fucking slapped each other, and then they shook hands, showing a sign of respect. That was fucking awesome to see that after the match. I give this a 3.5 out of 5. I really like both of these guys, and I was entertained throughout the match. I mean, it would have been nice if they had a little bit more time and took it up a notch a little. Took it up a bit of a notch. So, Shibata, I'm really looking forward to seeing his match with Kyle O'Reilly at Field of Honor, though. Because that's going to be an awesome match to see. Don't know what they're going to have for Young, though. That is if Silas Young does end up on the card. But, really good match. ROH off to a good start with this pay-per-view. So, we go from that match to the worst match on the card. 6-man tag match. Chaos versus Bullet Club. You got, representing Chaos is Roppongi Vice, Rocky Romero and Beretta, and Toru Yano. And representing Bullet Club is the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, and Yujiro Takahashi, Tokyo Pimp. This was just fucking trash. Don't know why they needed to have this match. Horrible. It was just everybody being themselves. You know, Gorillas of Destiny being the Gorillas of Destiny, where Tangaloa was being fucking garbage. Same with Takahashi. Yano was fucking garbage. Tama Tonga was decent. Roppongi Vice was pretty good. They had their spots. But at least the Roppongi Vice and then Tama Tonga, they tried their best to make this match, to make the best out of this match, but overall it just fell flat, where you have Yano doing a low blow and then getting a roll up for a 3 count. So Chaos wins. I give this match a 2 out of 5. You're better off skipping this match. After the match, Bullet Club attack, and you have Adam Page running into the ring, about to hang Yano, but Jay Briscoe makes the save, and without any hesitation, they go on to the next match, which is a no holds barred Hangman Adam Page versus Jay Briscoe. This was a really good match. These guys were beating the fuck out of each other. Where, to start off the match, they go for chairs, and it was really funny to see that concerto fight. But Briscoe hits like a smash mouth as Page charged him. And you have Briscoe pretty much taking control of the match early. It's a suicide dive. where he takes out Page and he ends up like flying into the crowd. And really fast pace, very brutal. And after a while, Page was able to take over the match when he uses the noose to fucking choke Jay Briscoe in the ropes. Then they go to the floor where you have Page working over Briscoe a little bit. At one point, power bombing him right into the chair, like in the corner of the barricade. Then you have Page tying Briscoe to the barricade, working him over with the chair. Then at one point you have Jay Briscoe tying Page in the corner with his face, and they're back in the ring at this point where his face is against the chair, and you have Briscoe doing multiple body splashes in the corner while Page is tied to the chair. And they end up teasing a rite of passage on the apron as they're brawling, but it goes into a series of counters, which ends with Page hitting the rite of passage through a table. And you see the camera cuts to Jay Briscoe as his back is bloodied. Has blood on his back from the rite of passage, and then Page has some blood from his knee. And that was fucking insane. That was pretty brutal to see that. Then you have Page choking Briscoe with the noose and hitting another rite of passage for the 3 count. And this was very good. They were using this match to try to elevate Adam Page, and I think they did a good job of that. Try to make him a rising star. Now, Page, there's no guarantee Page could be a top guy for ROH, but this match helps if they're trying to make Page like a future main eventer. This match ends up helping, so I'm going to give this match a 4.25 out of 5. It's like both of these men did a damn good job. Shout out to Briscoe for doing the favor for Page, because Jay Briscoe winning the match doesn't really do anything for him. And I'm a huge fan of Briscoe. So it's good to see Page get the win. And let's see where they go from here. So we go from this match to the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, taking on the Peacock Faggot, Dalton Castle. So you have Okada taking over the match early on. Then Castle ends up hitting running knee strikes after cutting off Okada, who was going for a top rope elbow drop. And you had Castle working over the midsection of Okada, with putting him in a waistlock, laying it while throwing in some elbows. Yeah, Castle as Castle was going in advantage, Okada ends up hitting some elbows and clotheslines, making a comeback. Both men were charging for each other and missed. Then Okada sets Castle up on the top rope to hit his signature dropkick, sending Castle to the floor. Then you had the boys trying to fan Castle, help him recover. Castle ends up hitting Arana, followed by a suicide dive. Then they get back into the ring. You got Castle getting a near fall, like a 2 count off a knee strike and running bulldog combo. Then Castle hits a series of suplexes, finishing off with a deadlift German with a bridge for a 2 count. Okada reaches the ropes, pulling the boys in. Then he makes a comeback. It eventually hits the top rope elbow drop. And he has the boys Phantom going for the Rainmaker. Then Castle pops up with a bangerang. And at this point, I was about to lose my shit. Like, if Castle wins, I'm gonna fucking probably start throwing shit around in my house. Thank God that they didn't end with Castle hitting the bangerang for the 3 count, as Okada ends up rolling out of the ring. Then Castle gets Okada back into the ring, hitting a suplex for a near fall. Then you have Castle trying to go for a second bangerang, but Okada escapes, hits a drop kick, tries for a Rainmaker. Castle powers out of it, but gets caught in a tombstone. And Okada follows up with the Rainmaker for the 3 count. And Okada is your winner. I give this match a 3.5 out of 5. It serves its purpose, where they were trying to make Castle look strong. And I see people on the internet fucking bitching about, oh, it's not fair, Okada always wins. He's the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Of course he's gonna win. This is stupid, like when people were freaking out at the 13th anniversary show going, oh, ACH got buried by AJ Styles. No, AJ made ACH look strong, and he was going over. Seriously, people need to shut up with this bullshit. Fucking crying. Castle got buried like ACH. Castle did not get buried. They made Castle look strong in defeat. That was the ending of the match, where he hit the bangerang, but Okada rolled out to the floor. That was to make Castle look strong, and they protected him. I don't like Castle, but they did a good job protecting him. Like, my issue with Castle, he's a great worker, but what pisses me off the most is his character. If he had a more serious character, I could get behind Castle and go, hey, I'd like to see him get a run with the TV title. If he didn't have this peacock character where he's sitting on men, doing all that bullshit. But moving on. Good match. So let's see what Okada has for Field of Honor. But we go to the ROH TV title match. Bobby Fish defending the ROH World title against Mark Briscoe. This was one of those matches where I'm happy with whoever wins. I was leaning more towards Briscoe though. But yeah. You had Fish getting control of the match early on, taking Briscoe to the ground, putting him in a series of submissions. Briscoe fights back with a few strikes, but then you had Fish running away from Briscoe, luring him back in the ring, attacking him. Which part of this match was a bit weird though, because I couldn't tell whether ROH wanted to have Fish as a heel or not, because he was on some heel shit. Because there were times where Mark took advantage and Fish would kind of get out the ring. It's like, we're on my time, Todd. We're on my time. So I don't know whether they want him to be a heel or not, or if they're just gonna have him as a tweener. But you had Fish working on the leg of Briscoe so that way he could set up for the heel hook. Briscoe ends up, Mark Briscoe ends up sending Fish to the floor, and he was able to avoid Fish's kicks and hit a blockbuster off the apron. Then he pretty much works over Fish a little bit before hitting the Cactus Jack elbow. Then gets him back in the ring for a clothesline for a 2 count. And what happened was, which on a side note, when Mark Briscoe hit the Cactus Jack elbow, he kind of tweaked his hip. He ended up tweaking like his back and hip. So I guess he might have slipped up on the Cactus Jack elbow. I don't know. But Fish ends up targeting the leg again with a series of kicks. Then tries to hit a snap suplex, but Mark Briscoe didn't really go over on that, which he was selling that, so it wasn't a very clean snap. So you had Fish working over with a running. Fish ends up hitting a running kick and a fisherman. Actually, no. Mark fights back, comes back with the fisherman buster after he hit the running kick for a 2 count. Then you have Fish coming back with the double knee gut buster. Ode to Roderick Strong. Then Briscoe comes back with the Death Valley Driver. Goes for the Froggy Bow, but Fish gets his knees up at the last second. Fish hits a Falcon Arrow for a 2 count. Then transitions into the knee bar, but Briscoe was able to hit the ropes. Mark hits another Death Valley Driver, followed by a powerbomb, and manages to connect with the Froggy Bow, but Fish manages to kick out at 2. And they worked at the top rope, and Briscoe was going for a super fisherman's buster, but Fish was able to fight him off, kick Briscoe off the ropes, where Mark ends up landing on his head. That looked nasty. He had Fish with an exploder into the corner, followed by a Falcon Arrow for the 3 count. So your winner and still ROH World Television Champion, Bobby Fish. I really like this match. A lot of people kind of underrating this match, though. I see a lot of people saying, oh, this match was kind of lackluster and all. I disagree. I thought this was a very well worked match. Very clean. There were like a couple of moments where you had like a botch. But other than that, I really like this match. Did a little bit better job with the storytelling. But other than that, I came out of this very happy. Because I would have been happy with Briscoe winning the TV title, but Fish retaining, that's fine with me. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Very good. Thought this was going to be the co-main event, but the World Tag Titles match ended up being the co-main event. So it was a very good match from both men. And now we're going to see Bobby Fish defend the World Television title against Evil at Field of Honor. So we have Matt Taven come out on commentary for the ROH World Tag Title match, where you have the Addiction defending against Los Ingobernables de Japon's Tetsuya Naito and Evil, and Unbreakable Michael Elgin, the IWGP Intercontinental Championship and the World Elite Champion from CMLL, and his tag partner, the former ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, going into this match, I had a bit low expectations because I figured, yeah, the Addiction looked so weak where you just have like run-ins with Kamatachi probably distracting the ref, and the Addiction just hit him, nailing everybody with tag belts or constant interference from Kamatachi throughout the match. But you didn't get that. I mean, Tamakachi did run out, but it didn't end with Tamatachi running out and he gets again in the ring. It damn near backfired from him. But so you had Evil, Elgin and Evil doing power spots, doing a power struggle with each other. Then you had Tanahashi get working up some momentum, and then the Addiction come in and work him over. Then you had Naito tagging himself in, delivering his signature slingshot drop kick in the corner. You had him and Evil working over Tanahashi for a 2 count. So then you have the Addiction, Los Ingobernables fighting each other. And you have Tanahashi pretty much targeting everyone's legs. They had drop kick to Naito's knees, dragon screw leg whip to fucking Evil, as well as the Addiction. And he makes the hot tag to Elgin. Then you had Elgin mounting a bunch of offense, spamming German suplexes on the Addiction. Then he hits a fallaway slam, Samoan drop combo to Naito and Evil. Then you have the Addiction coming in, double teaming Elgin, working him over. You have Daniels hitting a suicide dive to the floor. They tried to hit a celebrity rehab, but Tanahashi breaks it up, and they're brawling, and they're all brawling on the floor. And while they're brawling, you have Elgin pretty much hitting a front flip plancha onto all of them. So then you have Evil tagging in, tossing Elgin to the floor, where him and Naito were working him over for double teams. Then Tanahashi comes back in, and he takes out Naito. Then you have him and Naito fight. You have Elgin hitting a power slam off the ropes, like a slingshot power slam on Evil. Then he tags in, and him and Tanahashi hit a double team, where Elgin pretty much kind of does like an electric chair. It's an electric chair into a splash onto Evil for the 2 count, where you have Kamatachi. He runs in, gets the distraction, but Evil almost pretty much rolls up Tanahashi and stuff for a 2 count. Tanahashi was able to counter the STO with the sling blade. Then right as Tanahashi's hits the high fly flow, Daniels tags himself in, and he covers Tanahashi and Naito to retain the tag titles. So yeah, the Addiction retaining the titles. You know, they're heels, but they didn't look completely weak. They looked okay in the finish, but it was a very good match. It was slightly better than I expected. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. I'm really looking forward to seeing Tanahashi and Naito in that fatal 4-way for the ROH World title match for Field of Honor, because that should be a great match. So we go from that match to the world title match where you have Jay Lethal defending against Adam Cole. You have at the beginning of the match, you have Adam Cole reaching down into his trunks, and he pulls out the braids that he cut off of Lethal when him and the Young Bucks jumped him, and he cut his hair. Lethal starts beating the shit out of him. And then you had the commentary selling the extra security to make sure there's no Bullet Club interfering. Which, by the way, you had Nigel McGuinness and Kevin Kelly on commentary. Kevin Kelly, he was tolerable for this pay-per-view. McGuinness, he's great as usual. I love the way he breaks down a match. It's like, he didn't hook the leg. It's like, okay, he hooked the leg, but he didn't get enough body weight. It's like, okay, he's staying on his opponent. Like, shit like that, hearing from McGuinness, it's really good, man. It's great to hear him on commentary. If only we could get Ian Riccaboni. But enough about that. Back to the main event. You have Lethal pretty much sending Cole to the floor. And Lethal was continued his attack. Went under the ring to hit it a few times to get a table. Then pretty much hits a cutter on the floor. Places Cole on the table. Goes to the top rope for Hail to the King to put Adam Cole through the table, but Cole gets out of the way. And the whole story is Lethal wants revenge, and he's fighting for revenge instead of fighting for the title. So Lethal ended up getting a cut on his head after missing the Hail to the King. Yeah, Adam Cole celebrating. Then you have Cole working over Lethal. Then you had working over Lethal a little bit with a headlock. And yeah, Lethal countering when Cole went to charge Lethal. But Lethal ended up hitting a super kick and a Death Valley driver for a 2 count. Yeah, Lethal hitting a drop kick on Cole while he was standing on the apron, sending him to the floor. And he doesn't hit, and then he goes into his dives. Not 3, not 4, but 5 dives. Goes for a 6-1, but Cole was able to sidestep him and send Lethal into the barricade. Where you have Cole slapping Lethal around a little bit, and then they started going back and forth trading punches. You had Cole nailing Lethal with a running boot for a 2 count. Then Cole goes for a super kick, but Lethal ducks and hits a clothesline. Then Lethal goes for the lethal injection, but Cole turns the ref away to low blow him and hit the last shot for a 2 count. And for those you don't know, the last shot is Cole where he has him in a vertical suplex, and then he turns it into a neck breaker onto his knee. So after that, they go back and forth trading strikes again. Then you get Cole putting Lethal in a figure 4. Well, going for a figure 4, but Lethal was able to counter into a small package for a 2 count. You had Cole with the hanging guillotine, which I don't think I've seen Cole put anyone in a hanging guillotine. That's usually Kyle O'Reilly's. That's usually something that Kyle O'Reilly does. But Lethal was able to power out of it and turn it into a lethal combination. Then you had Lethal hitting a series of backdrop holds, followed by Hail to the King for a 2 count. You have Cole and Lethal trading kicks, and then, but Cole ends up catching him with a super kick. Then you have Cole going for the Panama Sunrise, which is Cole jumping off the second rope into a Canadian Destroyer. Almost a super Canadian Destroyer, but not really. But as he went for the Panama Sunrise, Lethal pretty much a super Panama Sunrise. Because they're at the top ropes and Lethal hits a cutter. Then, as Lethal goes for the lethal injection a second time, Cole counters with a super kick and hits the Panama Sunrise. Followed by another last shot, but Lethal's able to kick out at 2. Then you have Cole going, "Get up, bitch!" Slaps Lethal, tells him that he ain't shit, spits on him, goes for a super kick, but Lethal counters with the lethal injection for a 2 count. Then, and the crowd's going nuts. Lethal goes for a super kick. Cole ducks, rolls up Lethal, pulls the tights, gets a 2 count. Then Cole hits a last shot, followed by a Shining Wizard and another last shot for the 3 count. So your winner and new ROH World Champion, Adam Cole, baby. Going into this, I wasn't that excited because I was concerned that it was going to be another retarded ass run-in. Thank God there was no run-in. It was a clean finish. They protected Lethal while also making Cole look strong, getting a clean win. I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. I'll put this around the level of AJ Styles and Jay Lethal at Final Battle 2015. Great match. Then after the match, Cole celebrating, and then you have Kyle O'Reilly run into the ring, attack Cole, hit him with the brainbuster, and he poses with the world title, and that ends the show. And that sets up for Final Battle, because I know there's been a lot of rumors that they were going to have a match between Cole and O'Reilly at Final Battle, because we already know a match for All-Star Extravaganza 8, which is going to be Adam Cole defending the world title against Unbreakable Michael Elgin, because on a YouTube video, Elgin said that he's going to challenge the winner of the ROH World title match at Death Before Dishonor to a world title match at All-Star Extravaganza 8. So we got one match confirmed. So overall, this was a damn good pay-per-view. Like I was going into this match, going into like the entire pay-per-view expecting a 7.5 out of 10 at best. I came out, to me, in my opinion, this show was an 8 out of 10. This is ROH getting back to where they were. They're headed in the right direction. This is the ROH we want to see, man. Where you guys are going for it, hitting the wrestling. Like some matches, the execution wasn't quite there with. But overall, I really love this pay-per-view. Looking forward to All-Star Extravaganza 8. And I'm really looking forward to Field of Honor with that Fatal 4-Way where Cole's defending the ROH World title against Lethal, Naito, and Tanahashi. That should be a great match. And if Kyle O'Reilly doesn't get the ROH World title by final battle, I'm going to be pissed. Because he's busted his ass and he's shown that he can be a main event player. Like, he's delivered in main events. Like with Lethal, he delivered. Although the ending was fucking retarded to All-Star Extravaganza 7, that match. But O'Reilly has proven that he can deliver. Give him the world title already. Fuck. Because I don't want to see another Adam Cole heel world title reign for like 6 months. Because a lot of people have been speculating and saying that Cole's going to be just a transitional champion to drop the world title to O'Reilly. And it better be that case, because if it's not, I'm just going to shit all over Delirious. So that has been your Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor 14 pay-per-view review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you let me know what you thought of the pay-per-view. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe. I greatly appreciate the support for those of you that tune in and watch my videos. And I'll be back to talk to you sometime later. Hopefully ROH can fucking get Field of Honor out where we won't have to wait like over a week or more. So let's see what happens. Peace out.